Hi, and welcome to our series called Van Life Questions. On this episode, we are going to talk about how to find free, safe overnight parking in big cities. One of our biggest worries when we were traveling in our van was we knew that we wanted to go to big cities, but we were really afraid to find parking. We weren't sure the crime rates, what were the safer parts of the cities. And you can't just pull into a Walmart and expect to be allowed to stay there, because a lot of the big cities you cannot stay at the Walmarts. So we had to really figure out where we could stay in the big cities, and I think we found some pretty good spots. We were in Portland and Seattle for about a week at a time, and it was easy for us to find free parking. Step number one, figure out what part of the city you're going to be at night. So the first thing that we do is that we figure out where we are actually going to be in the city at night, because we don't want to have to move 45 minutes to find that overnight parking spot that we discovered on Google Maps at the beginning of the day. So usually our parking spots are near either Planet Fitnesses or libraries or parks that we were just at. So then we only have to go 5 to 10 minutes to find our parking spot. Step number two, figure out the crime rates in the neighborhoods and suburbs. And to do that, we use the site niche.com. After I figure out where I was going to be in the city, then I go to niche.com, and on that website what you can do is you can just search the actual neighborhood on that website, and then you can figure out, it'll tell you the specific crime rates of that neighborhood or suburb. So what we usually try to do is find suburbs or neighborhoods that have at least a B in crime rate. Step number three, search Google for more information about that neighborhood or suburb. Once you use niche.com to find the neighborhood that you feel is safe, then just quickly do a Google search to figure out if that area is actually safe. So what I would do is, on Google I would search, is this, and then put the neighborhood name, area safe or is a good place to live, and then usually there's some pretty good tips. They'll tell you what streets even to park in between, and where in the city you don't want to go past a certain area in that neighborhood. And that's how we found some safer areas. Step number four, search Google Maps for apartments in that neighborhood or suburb. So now what we do is that we go to Google Maps and we use satellite view and we look at the apartments in that area. Apartments are usually better spots that you can stay because there are a lot of people that are parked on the street there. And usually the people that are there don't recognize the vehicles anyway, so you're kind of more hidden. Sometimes we can't find the apartments, so then we look for just neighborhoods that have a lot of people parked on the street. And if you use satellite view, usually you can tell where the cars are actually parked, and that's where you kind of know that you can stay there. Step number five is drive by the spots that you found. What we do now is, after using Google Maps, we kind of have a general idea of the better spots to stay. So then we will drive by that area and kind of look to see how many cars are parked there, what the street parking looks like, if there's any signs saying we can't park. And then also too, sometimes the apartments that we do find, we don't really like the spots there, so then we kind of drive down some of the roads near the apartments, and that's how we also find places to stay. Here's some other general tips that we like to follow when we're parking overnight in neighborhoods. The first one is that we like to park in well-lit areas because I feel like it's safer. If it's a dark area, even though that might be nicer for sleeping, I don't know, you can't really see what's going on around you. So try to stay in the well-lit areas. Another tip is that you should park where there's a lot of cars. If you're parked on a street with more cars, then you'll blend in a lot better. So people won't really, you won't really stick out, and people won't really be looking at your vehicle. Another great tip is that if you're going to be in the big city for multiple days, we were in the big city for about a week at a time, so we found 3 or 4 different spots that we felt comfortable staying at, and then we kind of just rotated those spots. It kind of makes you not stand out as much. And I would say the last tip is that if you're parking overnight in a neighborhood, try to be as discreet as possible. Make sure you're ready for bed. You don't try to shake the van that much. You don't have the lights on. You're just kind of trying to be stealthy parking in these neighborhoods. You talk quietly. I mean, you don't want to bring a lot of attention to yourself, so the quieter you are, the more stealthy you are, the better chance you are going to have of staying in a good spot.
here in this extra tips section, we just have some steps that sometimes apply, sometimes don't. We wanted to give you some other ideas and options to think about. So if the spots that you picked you didn't feel comfortable in them, a lot of times what we do is we'll just drive around the neighborhood, because we already looked it up, we know the neighborhood's safe. So we're just gonna drive around and try to find vehicles that are parked on the street. Usually you'll be able to tell there's just like 1 or 2 cars parked in front of places. It's probably not a place you want to stay. If you find a street that is just lined with cars, then that would probably be a good option. We have parked in front of just random people's houses sometimes when we had a hard time finding spots. Usually we like to park in front of the apartments, but doesn't always pan out. So just drive around the neighborhood and see if you can find cars parked on the street. Another tip would be to just park in a spot and just try it out, because when you first start doing it, I know the first time we parked next to an apartment building, we thought it'd be fine, but we were super nervous because we had never parked on the street before, and it was just uncomfortable for us. Now, these are some of our favorite places to park. They're usually really quiet. There's people around. You're usually decently lit. And so it's a pretty safe place to park for the most part, and it's quiet and you get a good night's sleep. And yeah, it's just try it out. Don't worry too much about it. If you have any tips on this topic or other questions, please comment in the comment section below and we'll try to answer them and learn from your tips. Thank you for watching this how-to video. If you want more van life how-tos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us. So we'll be doing these hopefully once a week and give you some good tips on how to live and travel full-time in your van. We'll see you next time.